like to welcome everyone to the Park and Rec Commission for May 2nd, 2022, and call the meeting to order at 6:30. We have some people in our audience, so do we have anyone that would like to speak for our public forum? Hi, Julie. Hi. You can come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Okay. Julie Schlessel, 177 Stepstone Hill Road, Guilford. And I'm here for 2 reasons. One, I'm trying to advocate to keep the police basketball courts where they are, I think where they're most used and needed, and also to talk about the plans for Bittner Park in terms of, it's my understanding that I heard that they were going to redo basketball courts there. I'm up there all the time playing pickleball, and there are waiting lists for pickleball, and that's where the demand is and the need. So I'm trying to change the trajectory of where things are going to maybe advocate for more pickleball courts rather than put the money into a basketball court up at Bittner that is hardly used. So that's, I'm not sure how the process is, how it works, but I know that, there's standing room only at the pickleball courts. It serves a great need for especially seniors, but it's all ages that go there. So I'm not sure. I've been going to the Board of Selectmen meeting about this, and then I realized that some of it might come through the Parks and Rec Department, since the Bittner is under the purview of the Parks and Rec Department. So I wanted to find out how I can get involved with trying to get more pickleball courts there and not necessarily put money into basketball courts there, or leaving those basketball courts and just adding pickleball courts. So, I think it's caught on time in the plan. So that's it. So you're not allowed to.
We have the basketball courts on our agenda, so we'll talk about anything that we can on that down later on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Great.
But thank you for sharing about the pickleball.
Yeah,
that's always good to know.
Really, some people buy their own nets and go down to Adams and set up, but really it makes sense with all the organized activities. It's wait lists only. So
I'm so glad it picked up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's going to get even more,
bigger.
As it's more popular.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak during public forum? All right. Since we do have 2 Eagle Scout projects to present today, can I get a motion to move Eagle Scout Ian Meyer and David Carroll before the rest of our meeting?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Excellent. So, Ian, you're on first if you would like to step up to the microphone.
Good evening. I'm Gabe Myers from 2472 in Guilford, Connecticut, and I'm currently going for Eagle Scout right now. So I have a project coming up at Bittner Park, and we're going to be putting in new post signs. We're going to be expanding the site, the course. So there's going to be 3 work parties that are needed for this, and it's going to be broken up over about 3 days. We're going to be needing about 8 to 12 scouts for each work party, and it's going to be about 3.5, 4 hours a session. So the first work party is going to be involved in walking through the course and making sure that we could find cedar wood signs or posts. They're about 8 to 10 feet in length, but we're going to be cutting them at about 8 feet and 6 inches in diameter. So we're going to be using wood that's from the surrounding tees. So we're not going to be walking all around the course to find wood for this. So the first work party is just going to be involved with walking through, finding the wood that we need, placing them next to the tees, and making sure that the wood actually fits the criteria. So like I said before, it needs to be about 6 inches in diameter and about 8 feet in length. And it really doesn't matter about the shape of the wood because we'll be limbing them and cleaning them up to make sure like it fits and it works. So the second group will be responsible for making the frames. Here's an example of a frame previously made from another scout project before. So it's made also out of cedar frame wood, which is all supplied by, pretty sure like the town. So the second group work party will be responsible for going to my house, and we're going to be making these with saws, and we're also going to be responsible. So it's a foot across and in length, and it's about 15 inches down. So that's pretty much what the second work party is going to be doing, is building the frames at someone's house. And then the third work party is going to be responsible for putting the post signs in to the holes next to the tees. So we're going to be attaching these frames to the cedar wood, the posts, and then we're going to be putting them into the ground about 3 feet, and they're going to be sticking out about 5 feet. And so the third work party will be responsible for attaching the frames to the posts, putting them in, and before we put them in, prior to us going through there, we're going to have a help from someone else, whose name, Craig? Yeah, Craig.
Solomon?
And he'll be outlining with white spray paint just like where the post should be facing, so we know like not to put it in any wrong direction. And all the posts should be facing the trail, so everyone, like when you're walking, you could see the course. And these maps are actually used for the people who are playing in the disc golf, because some of the baskets, like, you can't see where they're placed. So yeah, so my three work parties.
May I ask a question?
Mhm.
Your first thing that you're doing, you're going in and finding wood, you said?
Yeah.
So you chopping down trees, or they're there, I mean,
No,
or
so
are they there? I mean,
yeah, so for the
There are
first.
trees up there.
Like, it's timber, that's a good one.
So no, for the first group, they're going to be responsible for walking through the course, and there's going to be 18 holes in total, so 18 posts that are going up, and we're going to be collecting wood from like the surrounding tees. So where the tees are going to be, we're not going to go around, but we're going to be getting like dead trees or trees that are like leaning or something like that. So I don't think we'll be cutting them down.
Yeah, no, but I like that. I like reuse, recycle, whatever you want to call it. Very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a question. I thought there was already signs up there. Obviously, I'm obviously missing
So maybe
something.
you want me to give the clarification?
Yeah, so we're going to be expanding the course, so the signs are up there, I think are for. I think
Oh,
that's
okay,
just
so
like
you'll
the
need two
size.
sets of signs for each
Yeah.
hole, because, okay, thank you.
This is for the pro level course.
Got it.
So they're new tee pads that are gonna be built,
Got it.
and I'll tell you later, there was a pro tournament there this past weekend, but, new tee pads, so this would be the new post for the new tee pads,
Yeah.
the longer extended course.
Now, Ian, will you need be needing any funding, or that's all covered, right, Rick?
We have that $14,000 anonymous donation they'll
So,
cover.
so you're not gonna need any funding then?
Right, and the cedar is all free, it's all there, the posts.
Okay.
It's just like the previous project, it's all natural cedar, there's a lot of it, dead cedar trees up there, and Ian and his group will be able to find plenty of them.
So we're just talking labor here.
Yeah, and then we'll have to pay for the cedar frame.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that will, I don't know, Bob, you helped with that, was it Rings End or Landon?
Right, we'll be probably purchasing the cedar, probably 1x4, and it'll be
Yeah.
cut in half to make the frame, so, and then we'll need the plexiglass. The plexiglass, I think we got it.
Yeah.
And that's all covered with the
And the back of the
donation?
board gave me a sample, and we have enough material. there,
Burrell.
When we cleared the course, we didn't haul everything out. So is there stuff piled up that we can show them where it is, or?
It's kind of scattered.
Okay.
They'll find it. There's a lot of, Gary, you've been out there too. There's a lot of, Ian walked with me a couple times, we've been out there looking at it, and there's plenty of cedar around, and they'll be able to get everything they need right there.
Awesome.
That is true. That's
I
great.
have more in my backyard if you need to.
All right, can we get a motion, if there are no more questions for Ian, to approve his Eagle Scout project?
I make a motion to approve Eagle Scout Ian Myers' project for post and sign frames at the disc golf course.
Second.
I'll second.
We'll all second.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ian,
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Well done.
Good luck.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
All right, next on our agenda is Eagle Scout project for David Carroll.
Before I start, I have something to hand out to
Excellent.
everyone. It's a
Thank you.
diagram.
We can always share.
Oh, yeah.
This should be
You throw-
enough.
oh, should be
Yeah.
enough? Thank you.
Perfect. Wow.
Thank you.
See, how did you know?
Thank you, Sarah.
Hello, my name is David Carroll. I am a Life Scout and Troop 471. And today I want to thank you to take your time out of your meeting to allow me to present my Eagle Scout project, which is installing 18 Frisbee golf baskets at Bittner Park. This benefits the area for one main reason is that currently there's only beginner's level course, and I'm installing a pro or advanced level course, which will encourage a higher level of players to attend, and also it will allow pro tournaments to be easier managed. And all the material, all the tools needed will be funded and brought by me. My dad works with, so he has all the tools needed. And there is a process of installing the Frisbee golf baskets. And that is, I'll first locate the area where the basket needs to go. Then I'll dig a hole 24 inches deep by 8 inches wide. I think it says 6 on your paper, but it's actually 8 inches wide. And then I'll fill the bottom of the hole for 3 inches with gravel, and then I will plumb the pole, or I'll put the pole in, and I'll plumb it, make sure it's level so it's straight up. Then I will clamp it in place with wooden stakes, and then we're still debating if I'm going to use an expansion foam set, or just cement to keep the pole in place. And if I was to use cement, I'd mix the cement, and then I'd pour the cement in, leaving 3 inches from the top. And with those 3 inches, I will be filling it with dirt, and then I will be leveling all the dirt out with a rake, and I have tarps for everything that needs to be placed down. And that's basically.
Great. May I have a question?
Yeah.
What would the difference be between the concrete and the foam? Would one last longer than another, or?
They last around the same time.
Okay.
The foam's extremely lighter and easy to work with.
Okay.
David, how are you gonna dig the holes?
Shovels. We have shovels.
By hand?
Yes, by hand.
Okay.
I assume there are existing posts there now.
Yes, but
Are you-
I'm
are you-
installing new ones and a new course.
You're gonna remove them as
No,
part of?
it's going to be a completely new
It-
course.
It's
So-
the same thing with it's the extension, right?
Yeah.
It's a regular or beginner average person level now, and they're.
Right, so we're gonna have 2 levels?
Right.
But it's all on the same.
Oh,
Am I
okay.
correct that it's
Yeah.
all the same kind of like T, it's just the length? I'm not saying T, but
So this is the
location, it's not 18
opposite end of
more
what
holes.
Ian's doing. Ian's doing the new tees, the new tee
Right.
pads for the longer course. And Dave's doing the new baskets for the longer course. So for example, fairway number 12 now is about 240 feet long. The new one is going to be 900 feet. And it's a huge difference for the pro level players. And when we talk about disc golf later, I'll tell you about the pro tournament that we just had Saturday. It was pretty amazing. But so new tees for the longer tee, the longer fairways, new baskets. And we have the baskets already. We ordered them, and they're, again, paid for that anonymous donation that we got. We got the baskets about 2 weeks ago. So,
The new baskets go right on these posts.
yeah.
Cool.
So there's gonna be 2 sets of tees and 2 sets of baskets in each hole.
Correct.
Yeah.
Each fairway, yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
And that was a gentleman, the Eagle Scout the last weekend, he's putting in the pads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary?
Right, so Ian's doing the sign posts, I think is the Coast Guard doing
Yeah.
the key
Oh,
pads?
I'm sorry, yes, tee pads with the posts, yes, right. There'll be new tee pads, new posts, new signs for the new tee pad. Sorry, thank you.
Ian's like, wait,
Lots
lots
of
of
lingo.
all that.
There's a lot going on.
I heard it.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm on the regular level.
Yeah. least you're on the level.
You saw me play, Rick, you know.
So David, you don't need any funding for this?
No,
It's
this-
all covered?
Correct, yes, no funding.
Do we have any other questions for David? Okay, can we get a motion to approve David's Eagle Scout project?
I'll make a motion to approve David Carroll's installation of long baskets at the disc golf course for his Eagle Scout project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations, thank you.
very much. Very good.
Just, I think this is either the 11th and 12th or 12th and 13th Eagle projects on the disc golf course. It's amazing,
Wow.
the number.
Thank you guys all for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, great job.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
It's amazing what the scouts do in this town, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everywhere you walk in Vintner, there's a positive
Yeah,
project from an Eagle
yeah.
Scout.
Before we continue with our regular meeting, I just want to take a moment to thank Laura Hartman for stepping up and being vice chair and welcoming Brad Cronstadt to our commission.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
All right, moving along, there was no correspondence, unless you had anything new come in, Rick?
No.
All right,
That's unusual.
fabulous. Can we get a motion to approve the April 4th minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the April 4th, 2022 commission meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
Any questions, changes, revisions?
No.
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Moving right along.
Kathy, you do a great job with the minutes.
Yes, they're
So,
very
Thank
thorough.
you so much.
We'll take a minute and look at the April 2022 expenditures. Any questions?
There's, at the first page there, they got Guilford weight rooms all highlighted. It must be the highlight for a reason, right?
On which one?
The
On the
first page.
of the very top.
The blue highlight.
Oh, the first page. That's the, yeah, that's, we always separate out what we're paying for that weight room at the high school. And that's why she highlighted that. And you see the total, she
Right.
highlighted to
Just make us
GHS total, 1,822.
Yeah, all right.
Yes,
That we're still.
that we're still paying for that, yes.
Yes.
Rick, just go over again, so it's electricity. So what are we paying for up there?
Electricity, water, security, it's a phone bill, but it's a security system.
Okay.
And,
Gas.
Gas.
and the gas, yeah.
Gas to heat it, obviously, okay.
Yeah, and the one you see that says Guilford Public Schools, that one I'm pretty sure is the phone bill security alarm system. So there's no water in this one. Is there? No, Eversource gas and the security system.
Any other questions about anything? And can we get a motion to approve the April expenditures?
Can I make a motion to approve the April expenses?
So it would be the right column, the net amount of $111,697.71. So next, there are a couple credits that are in here where we got a refund or something returned. So that'd be the dollar amount that for you to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving right along. Department reports. Can I make a suggestion for going forward on our department reports? A lot of things that are in here are discussed usually within our agenda. So if there are no questions, could we just assume that they're read and move on and then address them later on if they're on our topic? If you have questions, you obviously can bring them up during the meeting, but not go through each individual report.
Yeah. A question, I've often
Yeah.
wondered this. I mean, is it necessary, I mean, we have the director here, right?
Mhm.
And all these people report to the director. Is it really necessary that we get reports from all these people, or?
I think it's helpful. I think we should.
I think
have
it just makes it clear so that, Rick's not sitting here reading verbatim what they said or having to remember.
Yeah.
But from now on, we can just read them, and then if we have a question, like if you
Okay.
see something on Ellen's, during this time, we can just
Okay.
ask that question.
Yeah, I was just thinking like Rick's
I
the
agree.
director. and
Right.
If there's anything important, he could just put it in
Right.
his, and we have one report, but okay, whatever.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
see
then
what you're
it
saying, but
makes
I
it
like
one
having some of the
bigger
very
report.
detail that we don't need to discuss, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
good information to have.
I just wanted to ask about the new website. I just saw that in the report.
That's under
That's a
Ellen's.
whole town?
The whole town is doing a website, we're,
Okay.
we're part of Ellen, working with them on that.
Okay.
There's one thing I do want to put on mind, though, when I talked about the number 12, the Greg Bugby with installing the benthic blankets at Lake Quantum. I spoke to him today, we're not going to do it this year. He said the weeds aren't bad.
Awesome.
And I think that all the years we've been doing it, it's really doing the job it's supposed to do, is kill the weeds at the bottom of the lake there. He went last week with an underwater camera to see how it looks, because if we're going to do it, we had to do it this week. And he said he didn't see any evidence of milfoil, which is the worst one. He said there's some, but he said it's not all that bad. So we thought, well, let's give it a year and try it, see how it works out. If they come back, he comes with an underwater weed whacker, and he'll cut them down for us if we start seeing some problems there. But his recommendation was that it didn't look that bad this year, so let's see how it works out.
Because in the
That's
past,
good.
didn't we install them earlier and then take them out by Memorial
We
Day?
we put them in like about now, the beginning of May. We'd have to be in at least 3 weeks, and we
Oh,
take
okay.
them out like 2
Well,
days before Memorial Day
I thought it was
weekend.
longer than that.
Yeah.
So if you're not using them, can I borrow them?
Ouch. Any questions for Rick on his report? Or after looking at all of these reports, was there anything that's not on the agenda that anyone had questions about? Hearing no questions, we can move on to commission reports. Please thank everyone for always doing such a thorough job on the reports and all that they do.
I think my favorite part is the number of meals versus
Yes.
last year.
Yeah.
The number of trips and
Mhm.
passengers versus,
Yeah.
if there is one, versus last year. And the Meals on Wheels, because we've gone through, I've only been with you through COVID. So for me, it's a awakening to see how much really does get done.
Yeah.
I did have a question on Tony's report. It says here, fixed sign at Grass Island. Where's Grass Island? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Grass Island.
On the other side of the channel, got it,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. There's a sign that we had put up, I think, a number of years back, that was with a lot of the park rules, like no dogs off leash, no golf. Mostly it's a dog issue, dogs running free on the beach there. And so the sign had blown over or something, and we were informed about it, so our guys said to go back and put it up.
Yeah. Hey, pretty soon that building's gonna have to be moved, because the water's getting like really close to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we full now with seasonal help and everything? Is everyone back?
Yes and no. We have 2 seasonal guys. Starting about now, we usually have a third one, and we don't. So we're still going to be down 1 for the summer. Usually it's a college-age student from, whenever they get out of school, mid-May until about the 2nd or 3rd week of August. And right now, we don't have anybody in that position. So, we haven't been full-staffed in, I can't remember when, it's been a number of years. Either somebody's been out like 6 months on workers' comp, or, and we do have one guy who's only working half days right now, and he's on light duty because of a knee injury. So, it's always a struggle for Tony to get the work done, because he hasn't had full crew.
Are we still accepting applications for that?
We would accept them, yeah.
All right, so spread the word.
And actually, if you don't mind, I should have asked you earlier, but there are a couple things when we get to new business, I want to add
Okay.
2 things.
Perfect.
And one of the staffing is an issue with us.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I don't know if we can do this, but you're here for the basketball courts. Is there any way we can move that up so we can talk about it now? Because you're here that for the only reason, right?
Yeah, sure.
Is that possible? I don't know, I'm asking, I don't know, maybe we
Yeah,
can.
we can move unfinished business basketball courts up. I mean, we're running through this pretty quickly.
All right.
It'll be there, but, can I get a motion to move basketball courts to discussion now?
I make a motion to move the basketball court discussion now, to now.
A second?
Second.
All right. Rick, do you have any updates on that we can discuss?
All I can tell you, I checked with the selectman's office today, is that Matt is working on a resolution. Turns out there was misinformation in the paper, I guess, last week. It said there was going to be a hearing or something. There's not. Because I was going to report on that to let you folks know about, but it's not. It was something else, and it got put in that article. And, I mean, the guy who, who does it, he does a great job. He's got so many, I don't know how he keeps it all straight. There's so many, he writes the whole paper pretty much, but Karen and the Selectmen's office said there's not going to be a hearing next week. That was just
That was like the headline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the front page.
Yeah.
He corrected it on my Bible
Yeah. Yeah.
Before he reached out to me, and I just said, just put it out wherever you put it out on
Yeah.
social media to correct
Print
that.
is with the wrong information, then he corrected it
Yes.
online.
Oh, I didn't see the correction.
I have a question, and maybe I should know the answer to this, but when I was helping on Saturday with the day initiative of putting the purple flags around town, we were down at Baldwin, and forgive me enough that I haven't been down there in a while. What's going on there with, are the tennis courts there being redone, or are they?
No, it's a parking lot now there.
Okay,
But
'cause
the
I- you
work
know-
you see, there's a drainage project we were working on.
Oh,
The Public
okay.
Works did all that. There's a pipe that goes all the way down. The fence came down, all the way down Bullard
Okay.
Drive. It's a drain pipe going all the way there to drain water off the field. That's why the backstop came down, they added some grading there.
Okay, so there are no more courts going there, because I mean, that was a thought to me, like either a basketball court or another pickleball court. I thought of, I don't know if that was ever considered, or if it's possible.
No, I mean, it used to be, as you know, a tennis court, but it was in such
I-
bad shape.
I know, I used to
It
be
was
there as a kid all the
recommended
time.
A number of years ago,
Yeah.
it's converted to parking, because they need parking for
For
Little
the-
League and for when they have
Okay.
concerts and everything else
Okay.
going on there.
Yeah, just for clarification, I don't know, but the basketball courts, Park and Rec does not have jurisdiction. Park and Rec just maintains the courts, but that's not under our purview, or that's not under our jurisdiction, like Jacobs Beach is. So the basketball courts,
We're just
that's-
trying to find a way to help.
Yeah.
Right, so
Help.
when the discussion came up, we quickly jumped into action to find out where we could put a basketball court, if that should go, and looking at the space that we have and how could we utilize what we already have. So we've had lots of discussions on Bittner, whether we move skate park, we add things, we take away things. So we've made all those suggestions to the first selectman, who I actually spoke to, and we talked about this last month, about a task force and looking for a volunteer from Park and Rec to be on that task force. I was nominated to do that, but I also wanted to, which I did let Matt know that we were very proactive, and he was happy to hear we were proactive, but I wanted to give Brad and Sue the opportunity, if they wanted to sit on that, I'm happy to hand that over, and you can sit on that task force, but I'm also happy to do it, so
Okay.
it's up to you. So Matt asked that we appointed someone tonight to the basketball task force.
Do you know when it meets or anything? Or no?
He hasn't set a date yet, he's trying to get all the players so that he can make the phone call and say, here's the day.
Yeah, I'd be willing to do
Okay,
it.
excellent.
I'm not on any other committee yet or anything, so.
All right, thank you, Brad.
That was good.
Way to get myself off of something. But you can always check back with us, because, once they make their decision, we'll discuss how we play a part in that. And then it's good to know that pickleball, because we did talk about if there was a way of upgrading what we have already at Bittner.
A lot of people that play during through the Park and Rec are not from Guilford, I'm finding out.
In the
And so-
pickleball?
In pickleball. So the wait list, some of them are Guilford people, and they're people from Clinton and Brantford, and so I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me, that this should be a priority for.
Well, it's very possible, because we have non-residents in every program we run, there are non-residents, not just seniors, every program.
Yeah.
And usually it's open to residents first, generally, and then the non-resident registration comes later. Now with the pickleball, I have to check with Terry Buckley on that, but that's generally our policy, is that Parks and Rec programs residents first, and then a week or two later, we open up to non-residents.
Oh, I'm not sure that that's what's happening.
I
Yeah.
wonder on the shoreline, are you aware of how many other pickleball courts in other towns there are?
I heard Brantford has a foot park, a lot of them. I
Okay.
haven't been there
Yeah.
yet.
I think the Y in Romford does pickleball, because Judy Sullivan was
Yeah.
teaching.
Mhm.
So Rick, so you have to call for time up there? I mean, you have to not to rent the space, but you have to get on a schedule or something? Like, if I wanted to go up there and play tomorrow, do I have to call to Park and Rec?
No, we don't schedule it. I think what she's talking about is that in our program, we have a program that Stephanie Blaha runs. It's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I don't even know how many people are in it, but I know there's a waiting list. And we use the 4 courts and then the 2 that are on the basketball court, the 4 permanent courts. We have 6 courts that we're using on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then I believe we have a league going on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so there's a lot of things that are scheduled through us. It's a Parks and Rec program. But, I mean, I've heard that there, just pickup times when, I've heard that there have been, people who, I've been told are from Branford on the court, and our residents are waiting to get on the court. So I had Connor revise the rule signs up there saying, Guilford residents have priority on the court. For, not when it's Parks and Rec program, the Parks and Rec program has priority.
Yeah,
but
that's
during pickup time. And, I mean, I don't know how you enforce that. We have nobody there, as a monitor. But if somebody is up there playing pickleball who's a Guilford resident or wants to play, and there are 4 courts, 3 courts, 2 courts, you're being used by somebody from out of town, then our residents have a right to say to them, hey, this is we have priority here. But we don't say a non-resident can't go on the courts. I mean, they play tennis, they play soccer, I mean, we're non-residents, they use our playground.
At the skate park, I was talking to them, I asked them where they were
Wow.
from. I was surprised.
Wow.
Oh, their
This means we
skateboard
have a
park,
great
I think,
park.
got
Do I
demolished
dare say?
recently.
Yeah, because something's
No.
happening with theirs.
Oh, yeah, we did it 3 years, 3, 4 years ago?
Well,
No,
Guilford's
the
very
stadium
lucky.
was
I mean, we
removed.
have
Yeah,
our
stadium, oh,
facilities.
maybe, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so that's why they're coming
Yeah,
together.
probably.
But Rick, that's posted on the fence out there, like when these scheduled group
Should be,
times.
I guess.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It
That's
is.
what it
I was there yesterday. I took a picture of the league, I guess pickleball league, but I didn't take the other days. But yeah, there are things.
It's posted, right?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's morning hours and afternoon hours. So there's limited free time, which means there are a lot of people signing up through the program,
That's
which
great.
is good.
So
Yeah.
Julie, thank you for coming, and I'm sorry that we couldn't give you more information, but keep checking back.
Trying to get, and I hope that they keep the basketball courts at the police station and look for storage elsewhere or nearby or something. I think that they
Yeah.
could do that.
Hopefully with this
So,
task force,
um,
that'll move along quickly.
Pickleball is a separate, although I'm just hoping also that they don't necessarily redo the basketball courts up near Bittner and put more pickleball courts. And everyone I mentioned it to said, yes, go. They're just waiting for that.
Well, we have the
Excellent.
possibility, it's in our budget to possibly light those courts too, if everything moves in that direction. So it would create more hours that people could play there at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
You're very
Thank you
welcome.
for
Thank you.
pushing it ahead on the agenda.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Well,
Take
the meeting
care.
is interesting.
You're welcome to stay.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so item 7, reports for commission staff. Representatives to commission, standing field committee. John's not here, so Rick, do you have anything to report on
Yeah,
that?
just we just talked about the Baldwin Drainage Project, Public Works has been working on, it's almost finished. And then the Board of Ed is going to put a sidewalk along Willow Drive. The one now goes kind of through the woods there on the
Yeah.
left side. The sidewalk's going to go right down, but the drainage had to go in first. And then I know Cliff Gurnham is considering, instead of re-putting chain link fence, more of like a guardrail there. It just looks nicer than fencing it all in.
Did you say sidewalk down Bullard? Like, did
Yeah.
you say, oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. So we had to tie the 2 projects together.
Where the fields are.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier than having to cross at the bottom, because I found that during Earth Fest to be a little tricky,
Yeah.
coming from the woods
Yeah,
to
I
cross
agree. I
over,
think
so
that's good.
I think it's a good idea.
And the other thing is, we had the bid opening for the Lower Cox Field irrigation project, and we had one bidder, and it was almost double the cost of what we have in the budget. We knew things were going to, don't forget, we put that in back in October, I guess. We were working on those numbers, and the prices of everything, it was, even the engineer, or a landscape architect who worked with us and wrote the specs, he said, I think you're going to be way, way short on the money. But that's what the quote we got, the estimate we got back in October, and it's almost double. So I spoke, right after the bid opening, I spoke with our finance director, and there might be some money saved in that Baldwin project, because the Public Works has done it, as opposed to contracting out, and we'd be able to move some of that money around. It's all has to do with field improvements. And there may, if we need to, there may be some ARPA funds that could go in it, but,
So that bid was never approved, it was just a bid? Back in October?
it was a budget estimate to
budget
put in our
estimate.
budget. The
Okay.
budget was approved for
Okay.
$26,000. It came out to almost $52,000.
Mhm. So we
Yeah.
do, though, normally get 3 bids?
Yeah, well,
I
we
mean,
only had
that's
one.
usually the okay.
Only one
Okay.
company bid on it.
Mhm.
But in speaking with today, Paul Schmidt, who's on, the vice chair of the field committee, and I spoke with the Lansing architect, and he wasn't surprised at that number. He just said the irrigation projects are coming in really high right now. So it's probably not a bad number. Well, it is, because it's so high, but
Yeah.
it's not a false number. It's what it is now. So we'll talk with the field committee about it a little bit more, and then just kind of and determine if we have some money that we can move over for the other project. And if we can go that way, then I'll go to the Board of Selectmen at their probably their early June meeting, because this one starts in July anyway, and then see what we do with it. Do that, or we don't do it, or we rebid it.
When was the last time there were the RFPs, the requests for bids? When did you receive that bid?
Last Thursday was the opening,
Okay.
Thursday. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. I mean, mostly, the field committee met for the first time in 3 months, I think, last week, and just hasn't been a quorum. And actually, there wasn't even a quorum then, but there were enough guys, that they couldn't vote on anything, but we had a discussion about stuff.
So I was going to ask about the field use policy.
That's on the agenda.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to ask about the turf field, the tears, or
Yeah,
that tear.
That's the next thing. The same company that's working with us in Lower Cox has to give us some recommendations of what's going to happen up there. So, again, Paul and I talked about that. We're waiting to get that information from them.
But it's safe to play on, like,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yeah, they repaired the one that was across the middle, well, the 45-yard line, but it's along the edges where it's separated, maybe this far from, it's pulled away. It has to get fixed, but it's not in the playing area. It's all right along where it connects to the, to the curve along the outside of the field.
Okay. Green Committee?
No meeting.
Land acquisition?
Really nothing to report, except our bonding was passed in the budget, so.
Fabulous, congratulations.
That's good.
Splash pad. Some of the equipment is being placed in, so that's exciting. Rick, was it last meeting, or was it between last meeting and now, sent pictures to the committee of the water being tested, so that's exciting. So it is coming along. Rick, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
They think they'll be done within 2 or 3 weeks. They started putting the berm up last week. The play equipment went in today. And the boulders, Ellen's working with the quarry, Stony Creek Quarry, and with Public Works to get the boulders that are going to be kind of like sitting rocks to sit on. And hopefully this week those are getting delivered. And they'll put those in place. So, and he just told me today there's over 400 plants that they're planting as part of their rain garden.
Wow.
And there's going to be grasses in the berm. The berm that's going around is to keep the sand from blowing onto the splash pad. And the beach grasses that are going in this berm will help stabilize the berms and, keep them all in place. So, yeah, they told me today it's 400 or 401, I think, plants
Wow.
they're putting in there. They hope to be doing that within about 2 weeks.
I'm so excited. It's all coming
I
together
can't
finally.
believe how quickly that is. That's like crazy.
3 years ago, it felt like it was
amazing.
never
I
going to
know.
happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. What
So
a
wait, we got the
turnaround.
footprint, they did the footprints, the
Mhm.
animal footprints?
They're in
Yep.
there,
I
yeah.
saw pictures.
Yeah, Connor said, or Mel, Connor went down there and said, oh no, a dog walked through this concrete. It's the coyote tracks, they're supposed to be in there. They look realistic. I told her there are fish footprints in it too.
All right, guys, moving right along. Unfinished business, box lacrosse, anything to discuss
Nothing
on
new
that?
there.
Question, do we need to keep it on the agenda unless we're discussing it?
We could take it off if you
Okay,
want.
thank you. 50 driveway, any updates?
No.
Jacobs Beach parking and septic improvements.
Public Works did an amazingly beautiful job. If you go down there, the center island that was mostly weeds, it's all gone. They dug it all out and they made I'm gonna say probably 10 or 12-foot wide dry well, basically is what it is. They went down about 3 feet, filled it with good draining stone, and then they brought some of the parking lot back over that. So the width of the stone center area now is probably 8 or 10 feet maybe, something like that. It's river rock, so it's a kind of rounded stone, and it's I think it's attractive. It looks really good. The trees were kept in, so the little islands with the trees are still there, but all the rest of it was mostly weeds is gone. You know, all the, what was it, juniper that didn't survive, you know, it all died out. It just wasn't working there. And we talked to John Cunningham about this because he was the landscape architect for all that, and make sure he was on board and knew what we were planning on doing, and he was okay with it. It looks nice, it really does.
Is there something to prevent the weeds from coming back again? Is there something you can do? Or?
They put a barrier in there, but because
Eventually.
of stone instead of topsoil, it's gonna be a while before they start growing there. So it'll look good for a while.
Like everything.
Yeah.
And no new information on the parking lot itself being,
No,
Fixed.
well, the town engineer's working on that, haven't gotten anything, but I'm just thinking if it doesn't get soon done, I think we may have to wait till the fall. Because once it gets busy, it's gonna be
Right.
harder. When it gets warm in there, it's gonna be hard to keep people out.
so if we don't do the big project of making it look good and everything, are we gonna just continue to fill the holes, Public
Yeah,
Works?
Well, right now it looks good, because the Public Works did fill those
Okay.
potholes, they graded it, and they put stone in and everything, and right now it's okay, but, you know, when we start getting some big, heavy rainstorms, they're gonna come back.
Right.
They'll have to do it again, you know, it's a Band-Aid. Even whatever, if they regrade it and replace stone, it's still gonna require maintenance probably every year anyway. You know, it's just, when you have a gravel parking lot, that's what happens. And it's my understanding, unless things change, is that it's unlikely we'd be able to pave it. And there's some recommendations not to pave, because you know, they don't like to have impervious surfaces near water like that. So, although the parking lot right now is pretty impervious because it's so compacted. But when it is regraded, it'll be graded so it goes toward that middle area, you know, and that was the whole idea of getting the water to shed off, go in there, and then sit there instead of in a pothole.
I drove through there yesterday, and the center island does look nice, and it was packed. I mean, the parking lot was packed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how many people were there. You know, you get one nice day, everybody's out.
Yeah.
You know, so
So
it's gonna-
within that parking lot, since it's on their agenda, the engineering and all
Yeah.
that is on their agenda
Mhm.
for maybe
Yeah.
looking at it in the fall or something? Yeah.
Yeah, and they may still want to try to do it this spring, but I think that we're going to be getting into a rough time pretty soon if it doesn't get done. Yeah.
There's only 36 more days of school.
Who's counting?
Who's counting?
Hey.
How do you know that?
Little birdie told me. All right, moving along, revised field policy subcommittee.
So because we had a field committee meeting, there are 2 members of the field committee now who will meet with you and John and me when we set that up. So now we're waiting to have a meeting so we could get another person. So it's going to be Tom Piersanti and Mark Donovan. And Mark was on the original committee with you and John. So now that we have that, we'll try to get a meeting scheduled within the next month.
Great. We did basketball courts, bridge project at Bittner Park.
Just, you know, you approved the last meeting, and the young scout who's doing that project is going to go into the Wetlands Commission, and, you know, I haven't heard when that's happening yet, but that's on the horizon. There'll be about a 2-month process, because, you know, you have to go to Wetlands, they accept the application, then they pick a Saturday to walk it, which I'll go with them when they do that, and then they hopefully approve it their next meeting, so it's about a 2-month process.
Does he need anything from us to go to inland wetland, or is he good with our approval of it?
Yeah, I think it's good, because I already told Kevin McGee, the commission approved it.
Okay.
You know, Kevin will be working with him on that application.
Great. Disc golf course expansion, I know you mentioned it in your report.
So, just to let you know, we had the pro tournament, first pro-only tournament. We had a pro-am tournament a year ago, but this, I think, or maybe, It was 6 months ago. We had one. And I went up there to watch, and it was pretty impressive. There were 45 pros playing on Saturday. A lot of them from the area, and some from like Massachusetts and other states came to it. And a lot of positive feedback. Although Craig Smolin, the designer, was talking with some of them, and he said he's glad that we didn't put the permanent baskets in yet because there's some tweaking. You know, like some of them said, yeah, you know, you should, or even some of the tees. He has temporary tee pads set up, and someone were saying, yeah, you really should move the tee pad this way, that way. So he's taking input from the people who are at that level and play, which is good. And so he may adapt and adjust things a little bit. And then the amateur tournament was on Saturday. That 72 people signed up within about 8 minutes, filled up, and then 20 on a waiting list. So disc golf is very popular, no question about it. And I didn't get there on Sunday, but just watching the guys who are really good throw, it was like pretty impressive.
Well, I have to say that it's definitely impressive because we play a lot of baseball at Nichols, up in Moodus.
Yeah.
And so many of the guys were going to the disc golf course that's right there, and I kept hearing them, oh, have you tried the Guilford one? So it's word spreading.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
nice
it's
job.
good. People like it. Oh, and the other thing is the tee pads, May 17th, 18th, the Coast Guard is going to come and help us build the new tee pads. So there were a group of 18 of them up there one time last year, and they reserved it. So I went up and I met with them, talked to them, said, hey, guys, if you ever want to do a project here, and I've been in communication with them in November, December, and then recently February, and I said, boy, if you guys can do the tee pads, it'd be a huge help, and they're going to do it.
That's awesome.
So we're going to build the tee pads.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. New business we took care of, it was the Eagle Scouts, and then I was going to ask about the task force. Did you have something else you wanted to discuss?
Two things. Well, the first one is big news. Connor is resigning. His last day is Friday. He got a recreation supervisor position in Monroe. And so he just told me last Thursday, I think. And so he's starting there in about, well, week and a half, I guess. So his last day is Friday. So we're sending the job description out to the Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association tomorrow. It'll go out. And then whatever other means Mitch uses to advertise positions. But I wanted to make sure it got out to people in our profession, because that's where we have a better chance of drawing somebody, I think. So good for Connor. I sat down with him for about 20 minutes this afternoon and just chatted with him a bit about the department and what he's learned from working here. And he said, oh, I've grown so much. And one of the things is the different kinds of personalities that he, not in the office, but in the community, from little kids to senior citizens. And he said, yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of people, and I learned a lot, which is all positive. So people, we've had a lot of staff that have moved on from here to other positions and do very well in other communities. Ellen does a great job working with them and training them, in a lot of ways, and we lose them. A lot of it's because we don't pay what other towns pay. That's a big part of it. But for Connor, he was also driving an hour to get here every day. He lives in Brookfield. And so he said now Monroe is about a half an hour, so it's closer for him. So that's a big part of it. He loved working here. Seniors love him.
Gas prices going up.
Yeah.
Gas prices, yeah. So it'll be a loss, but we'll get somebody else. I don't want to make light of it because Connor did a great job.
Yeah.
But that leads me to the other thing I want to talk about is our summer staffing. So Ellen and I met today for a bit, and we are in tough shape for lifeguards. We have maybe half of the staff that we need. We've never had this problem. We've kind of prided ourselves in other communities who struggled getting lifeguards. We didn't. We have 11 lifeguards. We need about 20, 21 to operate both beaches fully staffed. And not only that, our camp staff, we only have 5 returning camp staff this year. And we may be struggling to have enough to even take 80 kids in camp. We usually get 120. So we may have to reduce the number of kids. This is not just a Guilford problem. I saw in the news last week that all the state beaches are having trouble getting lifeguards. You look anywhere, Big Y, I mean, people have help wanted signs every place. People, there's either not a workforce or people are not wanting to work. I'm not sure what it is, but this is the first time we've had this issue with lifeguards. So one of the things we talked about, I'm going to contradict myself. Quantapug is where we really need guards, because it's the least, any water's not safe. But we know it's deep there, we know there's a drop-off there, but we can't not have guards at Jacobs Beach when we have camp, because camp uses the water, we gotta have lifeguards there. And now we have a splash pad. And we have a lot more people at Jacobs Beach than we have at Quantapug, not in the water necessarily, but in the park. And what do? We just have gate guards there? And, you know, we can't. So what we're thinking, and I want to get all your opinion on this, is if we don't get more, and hopefully we still have a little time, hopefully we'll get a few more staff, but our current thinking is that we may have to cancel swim lessons, because we would need those 2 lifeguards to be lifeguards. And I don't like doing that, because we haven't had swim lessons, I think, for 2 years now because of COVID. But we also don't have water safety instructors, which you really need to have for certified swim lessons. We don't have any. And so they would be lifeguards. They could teach them to swim and teach what they have to teach, but they can't get a certification from it. It's not like the Red Cross or YMCA program, because they're not certified instructors. They could keep them safe, right? And they could teach them stuff, but they're not certified teachers. So if we tie up 1 or 2 people doing that, then we don't have people to be lifeguards, or enough people. And at the lake, you'd have to have 3 people, because you always have to have 2 in the chairs and 1 out. You can't keep the lifeguards in the chair for 8 hours, because they have to get their eyes off the water and be able to focus on, rest their eyes to be effective. Same thing at Jacobs. We've always had at least 3, 2 in the chair, 1 down. And if we only have 12 guards, we really can't staff all the shifts that we have to staff, all the hours are open. So one thing we talked about is, do we open Quantapug with 1 shift just from noon to 6? So not be open in the morning at all, not have lessons, and open, if we were able to reduce hours, we could probably have the guards we need and do what we have to do with the shifts we have to have. Usually we have 2 shifts at the lakes, we're usually open 9 to 7. But that's 2 shifts. You can't have 1 shift working all those hours. So the idea, we reduce it to 1 shift.
Rick, are you saying that it's too late? Like, is it too late to get lifeguards right now? I mean, or you just have put it so out there that there has been no response?
It's not too late. It's just we're not getting anybody.
You're not getting any.
We had 12. Somebody resigned. Somebody today pulled out and said they don't want to be a lifeguard.
Gotcha, okay.
Right.
Where does it go out there? Like, I'm thinking about high school.
I think Ellen's talked to people at the high school. She said to Southern Connecticut State University, and we'll go to with their swim teams.
Just because I haven't seen anything, because I get all the high school emails, and I see things for volunteer opportunities, and I don't think I noticed. I feel like I would have noticed if there was something
I
for
don't know if
Parks
she
and Rec.
talked to like guidance counselor. I don't know if she
I mean,
talked to them.
maybe it was sent out, and I don't remember, but it seems worth doing again.
I know that Ben Rayner, who's a reporter of Guilford Courier, he also does a water safety program. Have you asked him?
No, I didn't know he did that.
Yes, he was actually on Action News last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So ask Ben, because I'm sure he has a lot of references of people that he can put the word out somehow.
About Facebook?
I was just gonna say, all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, just put
Ellen's
it out.
pretty savvy with social media. I'm sure
Yeah,
she's
she
done
is,
all
yeah.
that. I mean, she was working hard to try to get people.
But I think sometimes coming from one of us to, like, just a normal person, to blast that we need seasonal help
Yeah.
for Park and Rec,
Yeah,
down
we have an
maintenance.
advertisement right here on TV too.
And we need
Yeah.
lifeguards and
I agree.
Camp counselors, like, because each of us know someone different.
Yes.
It spreads all across, so if we
Yeah.
can all do our part and help
Yeah. We would love it, because we really
spread
would
the
love to
word.
be able to open.
So what do they pay, what do lifeguards get paid?
Boy,
Not much.
yeah, not much.
Nobody gets paid a lot.
I'm gonna say about $14 an hour. I don't have the exact number. I think, what's minimum wage now? It's at, I think 13 or 12, something
It's
now.
13.
Is it 13? Yeah, so it's probably more like 14. Gate guards probably get 13. And gate guards are okay, we don't need any. And I asked Ellen and Connor, are there any gate guards that can move up? And I think as of this moment, I believe there's not even an aquatics director. The one who was the assistant director last year and was expressed interest lives in Waterford now. And she said, I can't afford the gas to come back and forth.
Makes sense.
Sure, so anyway, I mean, and obviously it's not our decision, but any talk to the town is saying, hey, we need lifeguards, we're gonna pay them $20 an hour and put it out there, you know, or whatever it is, I mean, that's obviously an issue.
The problem is a ripple effect, so then we really, and I agree with $20 an hour makes sense, but then what about our seasonal maintenance guy? We always have trouble getting, you know,
Understood.
at every level, we have trouble getting people. The town doesn't pay as well as some other communities pay. But I think that's not even really the problem, 'cause I believe the state pays more than we do, and they're struggling to get lifeguards.
Okay.
COVID was a real problem. It was last year, camp, switch back to camp for a second. All those counselors and kids had to wear masks outdoors all day. And that it killed the program. I mean, they're burned out. They just don't want to come back. And some of them aged out, graduated out because they've gotten full-time jobs, you know, because they're out of college now, or are looking for full-time positions. That's part of the problem. But with the lifeguards, 2 years ago, if you remember, last year wasn't as bad, but 2 years ago when we had to keep people 15 feet apart, the beating that our staff took on, the gate guards especially, and the aquatics directors, because they were helping the gate guards, people screaming at them, yelling at them, just a lot of space on the beach. How can we not let it? And when you saw New York cars and New Jersey cars, people from out of state, we can't discriminate from where they come from. They pay more, but people call me on a Monday. I'd say, look, come earlier. I'd rather you get in than somebody from New York, you know. But you got to get there earlier. We can't tell somebody from out of state they can't come, you know, or any from other part of Connecticut. There's state money in that beach, so everybody is welcome and allowed to be there. We can't discriminate who comes in and who doesn't.
So Rick, so the solution now is, if we don't get one more lifeguard, the solution is just to cut the hours. I mean, what else can you do? I mean,
That's all we can do.
It's not one more, I thought we were talking about.
Many
10
more.
more,
Yeah.
like 10 more.
10 more.
10 more,
10 more.
it's not one.
no, what I'm saying is that if we can't get any more lifeguards, as of whatever we have now, so the plan is just to cut the hours, and we're good to go.
Yeah, we're not good to go, but
you
that's
know
what
what I
we
mean?
got to
I mean,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have a lot of choice.
It's not like we're gonna have to shut the beaches down and all that, you know, whatever.
I don't think so. Although, again, remember, 2 years ago, in the height of COVID, we didn't open Lake Quantipoc because of that 15-foot separation. We could have gotten 40 people on the beach, and the gate guards would have had more trouble with people complaining about not being able to get in because it was so restrictive there. It was such a small beach that we just closed it.
So if Lake Quantipoc, so let's say, for argument's sake, you're only gonna be able to go from 12 to 7. So the gate's gonna be locked, obviously locked before then?
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
It'd be locked, it's not, okay, so it won't be unlocked and said, you know, swim at your own risk, that.
No, I would never go with that. Insurance companies they frown on that. Because to me, if you say swim at your own risk, you're still saying it's okay to go in and swim. And we rather say you can't swim, zero, period. No lifeguard to do it, you don't go in there. There've been 2 drownings at that lake.
My father saved someone at that lake when I was a child,
Yeah.
actually.
There's an underwater ledge, our lifeguards know where that is, and I'm gonna step back and say that it should be fairly safe though, because the way that ledge goes, it goes from on the left side of the beach, it's kind of close to the beach, goes out on a diagonal toward the middle of the lake, and we know where that is, and so I have when we set the buoys up, I've had to move it more to the right so that you gotta be over your head when you get to where that drop off is. So that, because that's what happened in 1988, it was before I was here, but a 10-year-old kid drowned. He stepped off that ledge, went down, and never came back up again.
That has been the history of North. My mom, when she was a kid, she knew about that ledge.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history with that ledge. It's
Yeah.
dangerous.
How deep is it?
It's deep. I don't know how
It
deep,
goes
but
20
it's.
feet.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's safer because we know we moved that rope over to the right more, so that it's, because again, it goes diagonally out, so it's at least 6 feet deep when you get to where that drop-off is. So, you know, we've made it safer, but still, if we had to open one later, I would say it have to be, or stay open more, it has to be Jacobs, there's just more people there.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can drown in a foot of water, it doesn't really matter, right?
So let's just hope that more lifeguards maybe are looking for a job
Yep.
and.
Yeah.
We'll all do our part and
Yeah.
spread the word.
Definitely.
Any other questions or,
Are you doing Get Out, Way Out? Is
Right
that-
now,
I mean, it was
but-
listed, but now hearing about the
Right now, we
staffing
are,
issues, it doesn't.
but the person who was gonna head up that program just resigned
Connor?
from it. We had 12 lifeguards, or potential lifeguards, one pulled out today. There are, right now, as of Thursday, I know Ellen and Taryn were meeting today, but as of Thursday, still wasn't a camp director for Camp Montuckatuck. There was nobody on staff that they thought was ready to move up. So, yeah, this is a very unusual problem. And again, it's not only us. You look at Big Y, there's help wanted
I was
ads,
gonna say,
any
yeah, a lot of
restaurant.
All the
industries.
restaurants.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, if, there aren't enough people around to work anymore, or they're just not wanting to work, or, I don't know, but a job with the Parks and Rec is a good job. Being outdoors, it's, it's great. Working with
We're giving our
kids.
kids money, they don't have to go out and earn it, right?
Yeah.
sad?
I'd like to say something before you call
Yeah.
for an adjournment, is I'd like to thank whoever was involved in the Earth Fest and putting that out there. I had a fabulous time. My granddaughter also did, but I had a really good time, I gotta tell you. I learned so much, I talked to people, I saw turtles. My granddaughter just loved every minute of it, so thank your team, please.
Yeah, I heard
It
great
was
things about it.
Connor and Ellen did that. They did a great job.
Very well
with it.
done,
Yeah.
really well done, and I think it seemed pretty well attended.
It
You were
was.
Yeah.
there, right? It seemed really
Yeah.
well attended, and it
I
was a
love
nice
it because
day.
it's been different every time, and I just have more fun every year, so.
So thank you very much, it was fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, they did very good with it.
Anything else from anyone? Hearing nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn at 7:33?
I make a motion to adjourn at 7:33.
Second?
I'll second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Almost a record meeting there.
That is.